Welcome to the Jacksonville Bar Association podcast. My name is Craig Shoup. I'm the Executive Director here at the Jacksonville Bar Association, and we're excited to have Suzanne Clark join us today. Suzanne is a 2002 graduate of the University of Florida Frederick G. Levin College of Law and was admitted to the Florida Bar in 2002. Currently, she is the Discovery Counsel for Beasley Allen's Mass Torts section, where she assists with discovery, especially discovery of electronically stored information. Her practice areas include medical devices and medication. Before we get started, I do want to say a special thank you to our Jacksonville Bar Association sponsors. These sponsors include Ameris Bank, Dex Imaging, Dixon Hughes Goodman, Member Benefits, Mulholland Investigation and Computer Forensics, Veritex, Florida Lawyers Mutual Insurance Company, YFast Networks, CH Mediation, Ullman Wealth Partners, Diamonds Direct, and Scarlet Group. At this point, we do have a quick message from one of our sponsors.
I'm Matt Igo, the owner, founder, and president of Seaside Claims Services. I am a third-generation Jacksonville, Florida native. I was in the Marine Corps in an anti-terrorism battalion where I learned how to conduct surveillance and counter-surveillance and things of that nature. Seaside Claims Services provides comprehensive claims investigations and efficient process serving at a very minimal cost with a very high return on investment. Some of our services include surveillance, social media investigations, process service, background checks, recorded statements, workers' compensation investigations, auto liability claims investigations, subrogation, and notary services. You can reach Seaside Claims Services by going to our website, www.seasideclaims.com, or you can contact our office at 904-506-2123.
We appreciate the support of all of our sponsors of the Jacksonville Bar Association. Well, after all of that, Suzanne, welcome. We're glad you're with us today.
Thank you, Craig. I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about you growing up and what kind of led you down this path to become a lawyer.
Well, I have lived in Jacksonville since I was 5 years old. We moved here from Charlotte, so I got to go K through 12 in Duval County. Graduated from Mandarin High School. I went to Landon in 7th grade. And I'm telling you this because I remember there was a day, and my mom, we had a carpool, and my mom would pick a bunch of us up from school at the end of the day, and something happened, and I can't even, I wish I could tell you what it was because I don't remember what it was, and that would make the story better probably, but something happened, and I said to my mom, this happened, and it's an injustice, and it just bothers me so much. And she said, well, you could become an attorney like your grandfather someday, and then you could make a difference in correcting injustices like that. So that was what sparked it for me, 7th grade, and then I stuck with it and went straight through business school and then law school and became an attorney.
So tell us about a favorite memory from a case that you either tried or you've been involved in some way that really has made an impact on you as a practicing legal professional.
Well, I do discovery work, so I'm heavily involved in evidence management and dealing with getting to the facts of a matter so that merits counsel can then argue the merits of the case. So one of the things I do as discovery counsel is document review and assessment and analysis. And I remember we had one case, and it was in 2019, and we just worked so hard. It became, what we were, the main thing we were working on at the firm, and there were 3 attorneys, and this was back when I was at EDiscovery co-counsel, and we were finding so much good evidence, and we put together chronology and really got the story told for our merits counsel, co-counsel, and they were able to take that to mediation and settle the case for a really good settlement. And it was just super celebration, and it really just made its mark on me because it just said, my work counts, it made a difference, we were successful, and we got a lot of accolades from Merits Council about the work we'd done. And I just felt like that was a big shift because it showed the justification of what I do, which is really getting into the evidence and everything like that, and just made a big impact on me. So that's probably my favorite memory.
So I know you talked a little bit there about EDiscovery and getting into the management of evidence, and you've been known in this community for a long time as a leader in that area especially. How did you get into that?
So the way I got into EDiscovery was that I graduated law school in 2002, and I think it was around 2006 that University of Florida College of Law started having an EDiscovery class. So I was in and out of there before that was even a big part of the law or something we were getting trained on in law school. And I went and I just did commercial litigation for 5 years, and then I stayed home after 5 years with my children for 6 years. So I took a sabbatical. And when I came back to my career, I have to say, this was 2013, pretty rusty, out of the loop. I wish I'd stayed involved with the Jacksonville Bar during that time. And what I got involved with was document review. And it was an SEC investigation of a publicly traded company, and there were 1.9 million documents to go through.
That's a lot of documents.
That's a lot of documents. So they recruited document review attorneys, and I got accepted to the project. There were 15 of us. It got whittled down to 5 of us over that year. People came and went. They got their core team, and I saw the project through to the end. And during that time, I was just doing one small aspect of EDiscovery, document review. And I remember talking to the other attorneys around the conference room table and saying, I think there's more to this. I think we can do better in our career and rise into something more interesting. There aren't a lot of attorneys that want to do EDiscovery, and I see opportunity here. And I wanted to get back into my career full-time, and so I got involved with an organization called ACEDS, Association of Certified EDiscovery Specialists. I went to their conference in 2014. I got myself certified, which was a really tough exam, and you have to get certain points for your experience and things like that. And I got certified in EDiscovery. And then during that time, I spoke with Chris Dix at Smith, Holsey, and Beasley, and I said, I want to do something with EDiscovery in Jacksonville. So he said, let's form an ACEDS chapter here. And then we ended up, after that, getting involved with the Legal Technology Committee of the Jacksonville Bar. So that's how I got involved. I started in doc review and then worked my way up and got to know the back end of the software and how to really use analytics on data and doing a lot more than just laying eyes on documents, but actually searching and culling and figuring out where the evidence is within the documents. I honed that skill set.
So that kind of segues us into the next part of our conversation. Tell us about your involvement with the Jacksonville Bar and why you think it's important for everyone to be a member of the Jacksonville Bar.
Right. So the reason that I think it's important to be involved in the Jacksonville Bar is because as professionals, if all we do is graduate from law school and then go to our job every day, we just have a job. But I see myself as having a career. And as part of that career, I think it's important to hone your professionalism. And I think being involved in an organization like a voluntary bar association, like the Jacksonville Bar, you are sharing information, you're borrowing information, you're learning from other attorneys, and also you have accountability because these attorneys outside of your firm become your colleagues. And those could be attorneys on the opposite side of the V. Those could be attorneys that are across from you in the judges' chambers at hearings, and you're also getting to know judges. So you become more of a community, and it becomes more, I think, we always have the adversarial system, but it's more of the, we're going to shake hands, and we're going to go to lunch, and we're going to be colleagues. And yes, it's my job to represent my client, and your job to represent your client, and we're going to be zealous advocates, but we're also officers of the court. We're also professionals. So I think that's why it's important, but also my involvement in the JaxBar has really grown me as a professional. Like I said, I got back into my career after a 6-year sabbatical, and I was rusty, and I wasn't as far along as people would be 6 years, well, at that point, 11 years out of law school. By being in the Jacksonville Bar, for example, I chaired the Legal Technology Committee. And in 2018, every year, the JaxBar has the TPC conference. So as chair of the Legal Technology Committee, the entire committee, and we had some great attorneys on that committee that I'm still colleagues with today, was in charge of putting on the programming, the content, getting the speakers and such for that event. So we would have meetings, and Judge Flower was on the committee, so we would have meetings at the courthouse, and we'd all get together and had a projector and all of this stuff, and I got to run those meetings. Now, I wasn't there in my career yet running meetings inside the law firm, but because I was volunteering, I had an opportunity to practice that skill set of running a meeting, organizing a meeting, creating an agenda. And I remember one of the attorneys said to me, "You run a great meeting, Suzanne," at the end of one of those meetings. And I thought, wow, this is great. And it was a way to show a skill set, to hone a skill set, show a skill set, and have other attorneys in the community see what I could do. That I might not have had that opportunity. A, if you're internal at a law firm, you're not showing the rest of the community what you can do. And B, I might not have even had that opportunity. But through volunteering, you're learning these other skill sets that can later you apply to your job. So I found that to be really important.
So that's some great advice, especially for new lawyers. Mm-hmm. What other advice do you maybe have for either new lawyers who are new to the practice, or maybe with all the Zooms and everything we've got going, they're new to practicing here in North Florida?
I thought about this question before because you gave me the cheat sheet of questions. And I do have some advice for new attorneys and seasoned attorneys with email and use of email and use of communicating in writing, any kind of technological communication. Attorneys tend to believe that their emails, are privileged and confidential and protected, and that their communications are privileged and confidential and protected within their law firm. And a lot of other corporations that are subject to EDiscovery and subject to having to produce documents, having to produce emails, it's gotten to where when I'm looking at documents and emails I'm seeing, they're being very careful with what they're saying. And you would think attorneys would be, and we do know how to be careful with what we're saying when it's outward facing. But know that there could be a chance that privilege is waived, even if it's internal to your law firm. For example, if you get sued by a client. Suddenly, your privileged emails that were internal, partner to associate, associate to partner, associate to associate, that would have been excluded from any litigation where your client was being sued or suing someone, become in the sunshine, discoverable in the litigation if you're being sued by your client. So, every email, be careful what you say, even if it's just embarrassing, even if it's just too informal. I would be very careful about emails. There's this quote that I love. Dance like nobody's watching, but email as if it will one day be read aloud in a deposition. So, that's my advice.
So one of our fun questions, and one of the questions I always look forward to in this series is, what is your favorite restaurant to go eat with your family?
So, there's a lot, but I want to tell you why I like it.
Okay.
The Mellow Mushroom down in St. Johns County has a trivia night on Mondays. So was it Mondays or Tuesdays? Because we just went this week. We went Tuesday. It must be Tuesday nights. So anyway, my kids and I went to Mellow Mushroom on Tuesday, and it was jovial and fun, and there were trivia, and there were lots of families, and and I just thought, I want to make this our go-to place. What I like to eat there, they also, if you're not into pizza, they have hummus and the pita, toasted pita and avocado and all these great appetizers. So it's really good, and they have drinks. They have beverages there, so it can make it a lot of even more fun.
Heard attorneys may like to have a relaxing beverage every now and then.
Yeah, just in case.
Just one occasionally. So, Suzanne, we've talked about EDiscovery today. We've talked about the general practice. if somebody wants to get a hold of you for more information about EDiscovery or how to maybe partner with you and your firm, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, we would love for anyone that wants to in our community to reach out to us. Beasley Allen is always looking for referring attorneys and working with attorneys. We have our mass torts section, which I'm a part of, and we have about 90 attorneys in all, with half of those in the mass torts section. We also have toxic torts. We're doing mesothelioma litigation. We're always looking for cases there. And we have personal injury and products liability and fraud sections. So we're happy to help, and we're always, I feel like plaintiff's bar is always really willing to share information and help each other. And we're always able to, oh, you're doing this kind of work, we're doing this kind of work, and share that. So we're happy to help with that. One of the areas we like to co-counsel in is products liability, because a lot of personal injury attorneys, if you have a car wreck or something like that, there could be an issue with the airbag in the car, and so you could have a manufacturer's defect, and those cases tend to take more investment, but we're always interested in looking at those kind of cases. And just the sharing of information, we're happy to do that with EDiscovery. If you have any discovery questions, ESI protocols, search terms, I will always take time to talk about EDiscovery because it is my passion and I'd love to help. So you can just reach out to me at my firm. My email is suzanne.clark@beasleyallen.com, and or at my office line. So just call me at the office and I'll get the message.
Thank you, Suzanne. We appreciate you coming in, taking some time to be with us today. We appreciate everyone who's joined us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.